Welcome back to the
Okay.
show, everyone. Dana just showed me something that I have never seen before, and it's amazing. If you're on the YouTubes, we'll pop this up on the screen later.
Pop it
I'll
up
let
the
you know when it's
tubes.
there. But
There you go.
we wanted to talk about creativity and using your hands and your body and
Mhm,
things.
mhm.
And what I was saying to Dana before we hit the record button is that what I find with many of my clients and even with myself, cooking is probably the
Oh,
place in
yeah,
which I find
yeah, yeah,
a lot of joy
yeah,
and a lot of grounding because I'm very much in the present moment when I'm
yeah,
cooking.
yeah.
Um, is that so many of my clients can't just, we talked about this before. You just like you can't just sit and like meditate. You
Right,
need
right, right,
something
yeah,
active
yeah,
to bind and tether that very robust, quick thinking that
yeah,
can oftentimes be just brutal, I
yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah, exactly, to get on
So
that.
I have a lot of clients that are very creative and do a lot of things with their hands and their bodies, and they
Mhm,
always
mhm.
feel better
Yeah, yeah,
when they're doing those things.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was, talking to, like, I have some, students that will crochet in class or knit in class, and interestingly, we're using the word creative, but we're maybe engaging in something that's creative. So, like you said, for a lot of folks,
Mhm.
being in a video game can do that. You're doing decision making,
Mhm.
you're seeing a visual thing in front of you, you're controlling movements and things like that. Um, I stay away from the word artist for a reason. Um, the One of my students that does a lot of knitting in class and just makes really beautiful stuff. She says, "I don't identify as an artist," and people get in an argument with me, and I'm like, "Well, tell me more." And her mom can do like sit down and do a painting of a place or a person or something like that, sort of from her brain out onto the canvas, and it's this thing, right? She says, "I can draw well, I can do knitting and those kinds of things, but I do it according to like instructions. I'm following a protocol of things to do this. So it's not so much creating, but it is, in my mind, like you said, moving, using your hands to engage with something. You have an end product that comes out, and video game like your score or whatever, it can be that process
Mm.
too. So to stay away from maybe even creativity is a triggering word for folks, but an artist would certainly be a triggering word. It doesn't have to be this subjective thing at the end of it that everybody's going to go, oh, right. It can be, if it's something for you that takes you away from that spinning or focuses your mind, or it is meditative in a way. And I don't mean like the om meditating, but it puts you in an affect state of flow rather than being torqued up about something that you can't stop thinking about, right? So I wonder, do you have something in your life that you're already doing? Gardening, cooking,
Mhm.
things that I've talked to clients about doing. Some of my clients, their big thing is each holiday that comes along is to, put up decorations and sort of make the house into that theme for that holiday. And that's her jam. It's like cool.
It's
She
awesome.
wouldn't say necessarily creative either, but I'm like, no, but you're setting like your environment in a way that you're intentional. I think about the like the plants behind you, those sorts of things. If they give you pleasure and joy, whether they're your special interest or not, sometimes people don't label them as that, and it's good for us to recognize that and say those are your joy moments, right? Those are your things that take you to that place. It could even be, watching a TV show or a movie that's a little passive, but maybe you're geeking out about it with someone else afterwards or talking about it afterwards. It can be that same sort of feeling. And then lastly, finding something that works for you, right? I've ordered those little kits to crochet like a little penguin,
Oh, the
and
wobbles, the woobles or
and it's like,
whatever?
anybody can do this. And I'm like, all right, I've never been it. I'm anybody. And I read the instructions and I'm like, you have got to be joking. And then I go on the video and it's like, you do this and turn it that way and go, and I'm like, and
I
I get it, and I sort of follow it, not really, but I do. And they're like, okay, that's a stitch, and I'm like, I'm out. That's one stitch. And I'll said that to my student that does it all the time without even looking at it. She's like, oh yeah, for me it's just always made sense. I'm like, for me it does not make sense. Now I can do building projects and carpentry and that kind of thing. That makes sense. She's like, I could never do that. So I love talking to various people about just the huge range of
yeah.
what you have as your individual humanness and what you can gravitate towards to find that. Case in point, these drawings that I do, I've been shared a little bit before I went online. I started these. I don't even really exactly know
I'm gonna put it on,
why.
Dana.
Okay, yeah. I This most recent one I did for my hand doctor, and you can see the big sort towards the right. You can see the hands on there, and he loves. I secretly did this, but I asked the nurses like, what is he interested in, and they said he loves tennis. So those hands are surrounded by these weird looking tennis balls, and the whole round thing that the hands are in is one big tennis
Mm,
ball. And then he
mm.
likes skiing. So I have the upper left. There's a skier there with all
Oh
this stuff around
yeah.
it. Yeah, and then he also likes, boating or the ocean, so, I love orcas, so I put some of that, and turtles find their way into almost every one of my drawings. But I started this, I think 1991 is the first date I have for doing one of these, and I wanted to be creative so desperately, right? My sister's a really good drawer. I've never been able to do, like, realistic drawings and things like that, and I just got some of these markers, and I just started in one spot and then free flowed out from there, just kept adding layers. And then the first one I did, I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. It wasn't pre-planned. Other than that, I wanted to have hands, tennis, skiing and water in there somewhere. And then what I do is I start it with one area and I just keep expanding that until the page fills up, right? And it was so, we were processing it with my therapist. She's like, hey, this is beautiful. It came from your brain. It was really good for me because it was just sort of a brain dump. I can't think about other things when I'm just
Yeah.
letting the pen kind of do its thing. It's pretty meticulous, right? The more of these I do, the more detailed they get. So I actually use a visor that has a magnifier on it so I can really see up close what I'm doing. And when I'm doing these things, I'm not thinking about how I'm feeling. It's almost like I can't do that at the same time. I can't have an intrusive thoughts. I can't have worry about what's going on in the world, and I can't not be in the moment. For me, I can't not be in the moment. I'm not saying everybody would do a drawing and that would work for them, but that's one thing that I found I can do and be in the moment. And the other big thing about these is I was at a workshop one year, a week long workshop, and I was working on one of these during a break. And the silvery gold parts of those is paint marker, and so you have to prime those by pushing the tip down, and then the paint gets on there so you can write it. What had happened is I think there was too much paint on there. I touched the page, and a big blob of paint came out. And
Mm.
I had a lot of it done, and I was like, "Oh my god, I just ruined it. Here, see, I'm never doing these again. I just ruined it." And my one of my mentors came along, and she said, "No, there are no mistakes, only creative opportunities." That is something that has stuck with me for 30 years. She said, "Take that part that you feel like ruined everything, and make it into something you wouldn't have made it into." So on the upper left-hand side, you see these two big green leaves that have that started out with one of those that I was drawing something else. I got a big blob. I started to try to fix it. I had to even dab it with a Kleenex, which I never do on these. Let it dry completely, and then I'm like, I'm gonna just see if I can turn this into something else. And it did. It works in there. And then I actually added more of those. I added the second one up there, and about midway up, all the way to the left, there's a few more of those. So I actually integrated that looking leaf into the drawing.
Yeah.
And that is probably for me the most powerful um, lesson that I take every time I do one of these is it's okay to not do it perfectly. And when there is a quote mistake or something you didn't plan, how can you integrate it, acknowledge it, see it, and then still go on? And that's, geez, that if that's not a lesson for life, I don't know what is. So I've
Yeah.
made these over the years. I've given them to friends. I've made them, put things in there that they love. And I usually say to people, well, this drawing probably has about 20 hours to do a drawing this big. I'll say, if you really don't like it, it's okay to tell me you don't, because I put too much of my soul into these. I don't want you to take it and then not enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I gave this to my doctor last Thursday. I could see the genuineness on his face, like, this is amazing. Thank you so much. And then his nurses told me later that he loves getting stuff like this. So it was just really
Oh,
sweet to me, it's like, I want you to know how much you've helped me. He's been so amazing with all of my hand surgeries. I've had a plethora of them because of EDS. He knows EDS. I can tell he's done more research on EDS to get up on it. And he's just a kind, amazing, wonderful man. So I really wanted to just give him something, from my heart in that regard. So there can be reasons you do various things. It can be just for that sense of grounding. It can have a purpose. You may keep it or not keep it. But I really encourage you just to try stuff. If you've
yeah.
never tried, just try it and then see how it makes you feel. See if you stick with it. See if you enjoy it. Right. And that if it
Oh,
takes you to
good
that
to
kind of
know.
flow state, find what works for you. Right.
Yeah.
I've had other clients that just sitting in a room with all the lights off, watching their fish tank. They said, I had a fish tank when I was a kid. I really want to get another one. And I'm like, go for it. Um, and watching that. So it doesn't even have to be something that you're sort of creating, but something that you bring into your world that gives you that regulating sense, that sense that you are beautiful. In other words, you can create beautiful things and enjoy beautiful things. Yeah.
There is what's so lovely, and I still have this up on the screen for those of you that are on the YouTubes.
I can see it. Yeah.
You can see it here. It's I had it pretty big covering Dana and I for a while, so you can see the detail because it's incredible. I find like, especially with neurodivergent minds who are
Mm.
always moving and grooving and shaking, and I mean, like, right? Sometimes that can be very uncomfortable or distressing,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
When the thinking is fast. I call it drinking out of a fire hose, right? It's
Oh,
like you're
yeah.
not
Yeah.
really getting satiated. Your thirst isn't getting satiated, but it's just you know um blowing you over in the face, like,
And
and
if
there's
we
it's
have a Killing Eve reference with Villanelle, it will kill you if you
it,
try to drink out of a fire hose.
yeah, right. And
Yeah.
so this idea of how do I find that thing that is enough to quiet that part of my mind, because I have to think about something just a little bit here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
enough
Yeah. Yeah.
where I can get into this place where I am grounded and in control,
Yeah. Exactly.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So whatever that is, I see that the body usually needs to be involved. Whether that's just like
Mhm.
journaling or
Yeah. Yeah.
video games or like something reading, like for some people reading's kind of not enough. I've got
Hmm.
clients that will do like Legos while they're watching their
Yeah.
favorite shows that they know about or whatever.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
They've
Listening
got
to
some
it. Yeah.
other things like they've layered things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I see the difficulty of nighttime, when my clients
Mhm.
are going to bed and they can't quiet their
Yeah.
minds.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this is a really good time to try some of this journal, maybe
Mhm. Mhm.
mandalas. Is that what they're called, Dana? With like the
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
marker pens, mandalas,
Exactly.
like
Exactly. Yeah.
um
Yeah.
whatever that is. How do you tether and organize your mind? How do you
Yeah.
feel more
Yeah.
organized?
Yeah, yeah. And calm, I guess, is a better way than saying, in that Zen sort of meditative place. And calm, according to how you define that. Calm can be stimming, it can
Yeah.
be whatever. If it feels it's centering, and regulating to you, then go for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe even like peacefulness,
Yeah.
like for you,
Yeah.
like your internal peacefulness.
Hmm.
I know calm, we've talked about
Hmm.
that as being a trigger word, because
Right,
how
right,
many of
right.
our clients have heard, you just need to calm down. Calm
Calm
down.
down. Yeah,
Calm
calm down.
down, right? It's like
Yeah, yeah.
like
That'll
that
work.
word is
Yeah,
awful.
exactly.
But what can you do? And it does take that coordination of
Hmm. Hmm.
I love the suspension of perfection.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Roll with it, see where this
Yep.
goes. And that is really hard.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like I said, that was a huge lesson. And I try to keep that in mind with everything that I do if it doesn't turn out the way I wanted it to in the first place, whether it's things at work, things with clients, things in a relationship, it's okay. You
yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully you guys, if you guys have something that you do
Yeah.
that brings you calm, or we'll say peacefulness, it
Joy,
organizes you,
joy.
it
Yeah.
regulates you, whatever that is, and
Mhm.
um you're willing to share it. We'd love to see
Mhm.
that in the comments.
Yeah.
Maybe that
Yeah.
could kind of inspire someone else
Give an idea to
in
someone
their
else. Yeah.
search for their own mindfulness practice. I think
Absolutely.
this is mindfulness like
Yeah.
practice,
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
just kind of
Yeah.
very tailored to a person. So anyway,
Yeah.
all right, be good to you,
Nice.
be good to others. To others. We will catch you in the next episode. Bye.